Hello and welcome to part 6 of the High Performance Imports V6 commentary. This final part is a trip I took to Tsukuba circuit where they had a historic racing event on. Hope you appreciate the sepia tone I added to that.
We've mentioned Tsukuba a lot already. Well, here we are, checking out a historic race meeting. Older Japanese performance cars are still a big part of the racing scene, with almost all of the classics represented at this event.
That, of course, is not Japanese, it's a Lotus Elan, but probably 95% of the cars there were Japanese. I think there was an old Jaguar was about the only other European car I saw.
A slightly newer sideshow is the fabled AE86 Toyota, known as the Hachiroku. These are still hugely popular, with over 30 entrants in this one-make race.
I imagine back then this was a fairly cheap way to go racing, but unfortunately Hachirokus have gone up in value so much it probably isn't the cheap way to go anymore.
The light rear-wheel drive chassis makes them a lot of fun on a race circuit, but they can be tricky in the wet. Among the older classics was this original PGC 10 Skyline GTR, built in 1969. This car is a living legend in Japan, featuring the twin-cam S20 six-cylinder with 4 valves per cylinder and triple Solex carburetors.
There you go, the 4-door version of the GTR. Usually you only hear about the 2-door one with the flares on the back, but this one too. That is actually how they used to install the oil coolers back in the day. Hard to believe, but there wasn't really room for it anywhere else.
Other than the Skyline GTRs, the only car to use the S20 was a special edition of the 240Z, known as the 432.
If I remember correctly, 432 refers to 4 valves per cylinder, 3 carburetors, 2 cams.
This one is beautifully presented, with classic 70s stripes. In this class, all cars have to use the standard brake disc size, but caliper upgrades are allowed.
On the Z, there were only 10.5-inch solid discs on the front. I'm not sure whether or not, yeah, actually they're solid too. And it looks like he's got the Sumitomo 4-piston caliper, which was originally used on a Land Cruiser.
The really tough cars are in the modified class, like this 240Z with wide flares and a carbon fibre bonnet. The doors are fiberglass shells and the interior is utterly stripped. 17-inch wheels with slick tyres cover R33 GTR Brembo brakes. The side exit exhaust also saves weight.
Reminds me a lot of my last Z, although I didn't have the flares, but most of the other stuff I had.
Even the panel around the taillights is carbon fibre.
I had one of those too. Believe it or not, that metal panel that's normally there, it is pressed steel, so it's actually reasonably heavy, and I think I saved 2 kilos by putting on the carbon fibre panel.
There was one more class racing at Tsukuba that day, but their lap times were not exactly thrilling.
Would have liked to show more of that, but it's not exactly thrilling, as Ben said. It was an endurance, not really a race, but an endurance challenge, where I think they had 1 litre of fuel or even less, and they just had to see how far they could get with that. As it went on, you saw some cars having to pull over to the side of the track. But it went on for a good hour or two, which meant that there wasn't really any more racing that day, unfortunately. So that's the end of High Performance Imports V6. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like this, please subscribe, and I'll be back soon with HPI V7. Cheers.